If you're a high-performing man, you likely already know how to win at business and most areas of your life, but your marriage may feel disconnected, may feel like you're just roommates or even sexless. So this is for you. I run one of the top 1% podcasts worldwide with millions of downloads heard in 180 countries. I am thrilled that I have helped transform their marriage over the last decade. It is an honor, and I am excited to help you transform your marriage without sacrificing biblical truths, because that is what works. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Delight Your Marriage podcast. You're joining me, Bella Rose, as I dive deep into the beauty, power, and truths about intimacy. Learn not only the practicals, but the heart behind what making love is all about. Delight your marriage. As I've had the opportunity to coach a lot of men, there's a very common phrase that's used is she prioritized the kids above me. I'm at the very bottom of her to-do list, and it's almost as though if I weren't here making the money, she would assume I wasn't in the house at all. That is a very common mindset or perspective men have coming in. And that's awful and painful. And I think one of the biggest struggles men have to even pursue this kind of material is to say, that makes me look so weak. If in my intimate relationship I am disregarded, it's so embarrassing to even come out and say, this is how I feel. Because as men, you don't want to feel weak. You don't want to feel not good enough. You don't want to feel worthless in your own home. It's the worst feeling a man could have is disrespected and dishonored in the most important relationship of his life. And so a lot of times men will run hard at work because he feels useful. He feels like he has worth and he can win at work. But when he comes home, it's like, there's not no one at the door greeting him or excited to see him. It's just like, oh, okay, my husband's home. So that's extremely painful. And so I want to speak to you because I feel for you. I feel for you. And when you say you feel at the bottom of your wife's to-do list, my hunch is you're talking about intimacy, that as much as she can, she's pushing that away. Almost every excuse that she can have, whether it's a headache or she's tired or, you guys are having a fight about something small. And you think, really, she's probably just doing that to avoid intimacy with you. And so here's where I want to give you a little bit of insight. And I'll start with just a story that I'm dealing with, but is the way that I want you to think about things. So I was talking to a wise mentor of mine about a family relationship that's pretty tough. And as I was talking to her, I was describing how confusing these behaviors are. Because when I do X, Y, and Z, this family person does A, B, C, and it's very confusing. And this mentor friend of mine said, maybe it's this dynamic. And she gave me this dynamic that might be going on. And as I explored that with her a little bit, it did seem correct. It seemed like that's what's happening. But when I got off the phone, I realized, wait a second. I see that I do that same thing to them as I'm concerned that my family member does to me. And so what I started doing is researching a little bit about this character, this character quality that I may have been missing in my own life and that I need to grow in. Because if it feels that way, that person's doing it to me, then I am making other people feel that way. So if you are walking around your home confused, Why doesn't your wife just give you attention? Why doesn't she just soften? Why doesn't she smile and laugh? And why in the world is she so against intimacy? Isn't that what she signed up for? Isn't that what marriage includes, is intimacy? You know, it seemed like you guys were on a great track before you got married, and maybe in the early years of marriage that intimacy was good and free and fun. And now, whether it was the kids or just a couple years in, things seem to just drift away. And so I want to invite you to think about it through the lens of the Delight Your Marriage framework. This is a framework we use with all our clients. And what it basically is a lens to say, this is what wives need to feel delighted in their marriage, right? That's what ultimately we want. We want to be delighted. I want you to be delighted. I want your wife to be delighted. So the Delight Your Marriage framework is saying, okay, for her to be delighted in her marriage, she needs these three things. And then for you as a husband to be delighted in your marriage, you need these three things. And let's walk through what the husband needs to feel delighted in his marriage. Number one is respect. If your wife respects you, it's like, wow, okay, I'm doing good. Things are on track. And if your wife, then the second one is admires you. Wow. Maybe she's coming alongside, giving you compliments and cheerleading you on and trusting you because she's seen you do awesome things before. And then finally, wholehearted intimacy. To be delighted in your marriage, wholehearted intimacy is included in that. It's the way God designed you. You're not carnal or messed up for that desire. It's the way God designed you. He set it up this way. It's throughout the Bible very obvious that this is part of the marriage covenant and is a gift from the Lord to you and your wife. So that's what you need to feel loved in your marriage. That's what you need to feel delighted, filled up, content, satisfied in marriage. When marriage is awesome, these three things are present: respect, admiration, wholehearted intimacy. Okay, now, if you're looking at your wife through your lens and you're saying, okay, for her to feel filled up, she probably needs those three things too. So then you're wondering, well, why doesn't she go towards sex? Obviously, that's going to fill her up in marriage. What's the problem there? And the truth is, that's not how she feels delighted in marriage. That's not her go-to. Those are not her core needs as a wife. For her core needs are safe, known, and wholeheartedly cherished. Safe, known, wholeheartedly cherished. So what I mean by that is safety is that she feels that you accept her, that you love her, that you care about her feelings, that you care about her emotions. She's safe. She's not pushed or pressured or you're trying to make her change. She needs that safety. Next one, known, that you know her. You know her personality, her likes, her dislikes, her passions, what she hates. You know her and you respond to her in a way that shows how much you know her. And then finally, wholeheartedly cherished. You take her on dates. You listen to her heart. You'd give her little delights and surprises, little fun things that are specific to her, whether it's buying her flowers or giving her a little note that says, I love you in the morning. Those are the things that make her feel wholeheartedly cherished. So as a man, you could be saying, well, she doesn't care about me. We're just roommates. I'm at the bottom of her to-do list. But what I want to invite you to think about is let's flip this around. Is it possible that your wife feels the same way? If those are her things that make her feel filled up, safe, known, wholeheartedly cherished, and you're not doing them, is it possible that she feels at the bottom of your to-do list? And so the both of you are totally ignoring what would fill up the other. And so, yeah, you're in this place of disconnection. And she's busy trying to do the thing that she knows is priority, is raising children. That is her priority. She's not wrong, right? The kids are not going to raise themselves, or if they do, they're neglected. So she's not wrong in having that as a priority. But what both of you are missing is understanding how to prioritize each other, or having the actual desire to do it. When she prioritizes the kids, recognize, well, wait a second. Are you, dear husband, prioritizing her? So just like for me with this family member, okay, I'm feeling harmed by that family member. I'm feeling hurt by their behavior towards me. However, am I doing the same behavior towards others or towards this family member? Maybe I need to look at myself and think about, oh my goodness, is there a lens that I'm missing? And if I'm missing it, it's exacerbating the problem. So that's the way I want you to start thinking about issues with your wife is, okay, if she's doing this, is it possible? Is it possible that I'm doing something that feeds into it? If I feel a lack in my relationship with my wife, right? This is you. This is you talking. If I feel a lack in my relationship with my wife, is it possible that my wife feels a lack in my relationship with her? See, that's the kind of mindset we have to have as humans. You and I have blind spots. I've got blind spots. You've got blind spots. Let's have a curiosity. Right? If you were in business and something wasn't working, doing the exact same thing again and again and again is going to produce the same results. That's obvious. We both know that in the business setting. So at home, the lens you're looking at, your wife, maybe this has been the last 10, 20, 30 years looking at your wife and saying, why? Where? What? Why can't you love me the way you're supposed to? And she may not have the words for it either, but is thinking, why don't you love me the way that you're supposed to? The thing that's really fascinating about this Delight Your Marriage framework of safe, known, wholeheartedly cherished for wives, and for men, respect, admiration, wholehearted intimacy. That framework, when husbands do for their wives, safe, known, and wholeheartedly cherished, when wives do for their husbands, respect, admired, and wholehearted intimacy, both people are dying to themselves to love the other well. What I mean by that is what's naturally fun and interesting and good, they have to die to serve the other. And when that happens, the marriage gets better and becomes a healed marriage. But one person has to start. It's like a cycle to go up and up and up. But if you, dear husband, don't lead the way of change in your marriage, it will stay the same. So I'm thinking that you're probably a business leader, a manager, or somebody who wants to fix things. That's why you're listening to this, because you're like, this is a problem. I need to fix it. How do I do it? You came to the right place. I'm a coach. I like helping you fix things, but that means you need to have a strong look at yourself. Okay, I'm looking at my wife with the wrong lens. She is a different kind of human than me. You guys look different. You sound different. Your body is different. In fact, if she looked and sounded and was just like you, I bet you wouldn't want to be married to her, right? You like that she's so beautiful and different. And so discovering who she is, discovering that safety is required, discovering that she wants to be known, discovering that it matters to her if you take her on a date. That's not frivolous. It's not silly. If you want her to think of your sexual desire as frivolous and silly, then okay. But if you can turn it around and truly honor her as a woman who God designed her to be, then what I believe you'll see is a shift from her to honor you in the way that God designed you to be. And the beauty is that eventually you'll get to a place where sex is not just about filling your desire. But a lot of times for wives, that is the first motivation. The first motivation is for her to satisfy her husband. Or actually, a lot of times if she's a God-fearing woman, if she cares about Jesus, if she reads the Bible, etc., a lot of times her first motivation is actually to please God. And then her second motivation is to please her husband. The third motivation is to gain her own pleasure. And that a lot of times is the order, because it's about 80% of women who have the lower drive. In my work, a lot of times the wives are not going to go towards sex unless these other things are in place. She doesn't naturally desire it. But when these other things become in place, when you begin to really make her feel safe, she can heal and then go towards intimacy. So that's my biggest hope for this episode for you, is to turn around your mindset. Could it be that while you're pointing the finger at her, the truth is you are not doing it for her? You're saying she's not prioritized me, but maybe the reality is you have not prioritized her. What you assume, her deprioritizing sex, but when was the last time you made sure she felt safe? Meaning that you spent an hour just listening to her feelings, asking her questions, getting into her heart. What I mean by that is when she shows emotion, you don't ignore her tears. You ask her, how are you feeling? What happened there? What's going on? And you hold her and you pet her hair. And I mean, that makes her feel safe. Not that there's strings attached to touch, that if you cuddle, it means that you want to go to the bedroom, right? Those are the things that make her feel threatened, that she blocks and has to protect herself against. But if the culture of your marriage is that she feels safe and known and wholeheartedly cherished, it's a huge difference. Huge. The strings attached make her not go towards you and go towards intimacy. So yeah, does it mean that you're probably going to need to work a little less because you have to listen to your wife a little more? Yeah, it does. It does. And is it the same thing that if I talk to her, I would say, does it mean that your kids might need to be in a couple less activities so that you can make sure you make love to your husband? Yeah, that's probably what I would tell her. Okay, so you both have to sacrifice a little bit because you chose to get married. Great, let's do it, sir. Because that's going to make you more like Jesus. It's not natural. It's not what you actually want to do. But I mean, you probably don't want to do a lot of things, right? But it makes you a better person. That's called discipline. It's called becoming a man of character, doing the things you don't want to do. It actually increases the portion of your brain that is responsible for willpower. And so the more you do things that you don't want to do, the stronger that muscle becomes in your brain. And so you're actually growing in your character. You're becoming a better person. I'm sure you have proclivities in a good direction. You have ways that you are that are strong and you're happy to do them. My metaphor of people going to a gym, even if they hate it, then pretty soon they see the results because discipline does that. But maybe you love working out. Maybe that's no problem for you. So you're like, yeah, everyone should be working out because I work out. Okay, so great. Think of something that's hard for you. Listening to your wife. Okay, if you can consider that a challenge for you, that likely would help. Gamify it. We use all sorts of checklists in Delight Your Marriage because you need accountability and checklists and truly recognizing this and then this and then this and then this is what's going to heal your marriage. But recognize listening to your wife, making sure you understand her feelings, not just the content, but the feelings underneath the content. See, a lot of men are fantastic at sales in their work. But when they get home, it's almost like they don't need to listen anymore. The listening game for sales, to be strategic and get to the end goal happens at work. But at home, you're just not, it's like, put it on the shelf. I don't need to listen anymore. I'm done. I finished all my listening at work, and now at home, I just expect her to make love to me. And I just invite you to wait a second. This is your highest human assignment. Your work is not your highest human assignment. Being a provider is awesome. Good for you. Truly, good for you. But her heart is what she shares with you when she shares intimacy with you. And if that is not honored and protected during conversation, when you ask her questions, when you look into her eye, when you care about what she's saying, and when your mind wanders off, you bring it back. And you ask her another question, you come back to it, and you reflect back what she's saying. And you actually want to know. You have energy. This is what's investing in your marriage. This is how you prioritize your wife. Because if you're anything like me, it's much easier to see somebody else's faults than it is to see your own. But here's what I know about you. You wouldn't have clicked on this episode if you weren't trying to fix something. All right, good. Let's do it. Fix yourself. Let's do this together. I'm into fixing myself too, Lord willing, with his help, with his guidance, with his strength. He can help us. But that's what I encourage you to do is let's reflect on how God can heal us. How can we love our spouse well? How can we prioritize what they need to feel delighted in marriage? And the glory to God, so often the response then is loving you in the way you receive love. All right, sir, that is my encouragement for you today. We would love to help you out. DelightYourMarriage.com/cc is our clarity call where you really just share what's going on in your marriage. You tell us high level and then zoom in on what are the major challenges. We'll walk you through it step by step. This is a really exciting opportunity to get clear. And that's often in fact, I polled people on our team or a big group of people at Delight Your Marriage. I can't remember what call it was, but how important that clarity call was for their success and their journey. And every single one of them raised their hands. I mean, it's vitally important. And so whether you join a program after that or not, it's going to be vitally important to get clear on the actual issues. And it's free, DelightYourMarriage.com/cc. Sign up as soon as you can. Our prices are actually increasing soon. So I invite you to take advantage of that now. This spring is a perfect timing to get in. So in the summer, with those wonderful vacations coming down, that would be an awesome time to actually enjoy the vacation. No more fighting, no more squabbling, zero intimacy, because even though vacation is a wonderful time for it, but because you guys are on bad terms, that may not happen. All right, so get in a program. Let's do this. Let's fix this marriage together. DelightYourMarriage.com/cc. All right, sir, let me pray for you. Lord Jesus, you love this guy. You love his heart. You know who he is, and you know who you made him to be, and you know all the good you've put in him, and you know that there is strength in him, that he is not one to just whine and give up. No, you've put strength in him. And Lord, I pray that you would help him to decide he will be hopeful today. He is not interested in backing down and giving up. And he realizes, Lord, I pray even right now, he would realize how unmanly it is to blame his wife for everything, but instead to have the strength to own that he himself has been missing the mark. And that is manly. Taking responsibility is manly. So, Lord, give him the grace to see his lack and to take ownership and to stand up and to be the man you want him to be. In Jesus' name, amen.
Joined the military very early on in my marriage. I was in a rough place in Afghanistan, and there was a lot of time where it was just a slow process of many, many years of just slowly kind of drifting apart. It's been over 13 years ago now. I mean, when we first met, we were obviously madly in love. You know, you have that honeymoon phase and everything was wonderful. She's an amazing mother. But along the way, what I found, which was embarrassing for me to admit, is I found myself becoming really almost embittered and jealous of my kids. I used to say in my mind, if she would give me 1/10 of the attention and love and compassion that she gives even one of my children, that would be enough. I found myself neglecting my children at times because I felt that way. And then thinking, is this it? Do I no longer have, the love of my life? Is that gone now? And this is just it? I slide into being a dad and a provider and that's it? There was resentment there because I was like, you put this much time and effort into loving these children, understanding these children, being compassionate and caring with them. Yet I feel like an outsider. And this was mine first. But I didn't know what else to do. I was listening to everything, trying to repair marriage. I listened to tons of podcasts. I listened to lots of YouTube videos and all these things. And that one in particular day, I was mowing the lawn. I was had my AirPods in. By the grace of God, it switched over and I went to your podcast. By the end of that podcast, I couldn't stop listening. I listened to the next one. At the end of the second one, I was trying not to show all the dust on my face, sticking to tears. It was a very short period of time after listening that I realized I needed to make a call and do one of the clarity calls. And I did and spoke to Dana, and she was amazing. By the end of that week, I knew there really wasn't another choice if I wanted to see any healing and repair in my relationship with my wife. Early on in the program, I mean, there's the forgiveness aspect, but part of that for me was not just the forgiveness, it was the letting go of anything that I thought I knew, because whatever I was doing already was not working. And as men, oftentimes we have a lot of pride and we tell ourselves for so many years that we're not wrong and that it's her that's wrong. She's doing this and that's why I'm responding this way. All of a sudden, you find yourself where I found myself was having to say, no, I am wrong. And what I'm doing all along has not been working. What changed, I guess, for me, very early on, I think even week 3, I was walking out of the garage taking my son to a church event. He yelled to me and she came running out through the door. She looked at me, she goes, I just want you to know I noticed. I said, notice what? She goes, a change in you. And I went, well, I said, you're going to see a lot more. And she just smiled, and loving her, the way that she receives love, it changes the atmosphere in the home. My kids, it has changed the direction of all of their lives. If you're listening to this and you're hearing these other testimonials from other people and how it changes their whole life and their kids' lives, I would hear that and I'd be like, well, that's great for him, but that's him, not me. I started listening with a different heart. And most of us as men, most guys want to John Wayne it all the time. It's not how God designed us. I started realizing it's so important to have those people in your corner. And I started listening and I said, you know what? I want to surround myself with people that have been able to make those changes in their life. And I realized at that point, it's time to make that call. I need to get these, be in that corner. Stop trying to John Wayne it all the time, because that's historically not gone well for me. And there's so many programs that you can find out there, and where DYM and the reclaimed program, where that deviates so far from all the other master classes or anything else that you would listen to. All of those have a primary focus on what you can do to change your marriage. You can't change other people. And so many of these other programs are what you can do to get this result. And it's always about the result that you're going to get back, which always leaves you with a selfish undertone. This doesn't have that. This, for me, has been these changes, regardless of my wife's response. It's honoring to God. It's changing your heart so that you can be the best man that you can be. I just can't put enough of an emphasis on all of us as men, we need to align ourselves under the headship of Christ. What we see in the world today is a result of broken homes. We have the ability, if we are willing to humble ourselves and allow our alignment with Christ, to save that, to stop those broken homes. The world would be an entirely different place if homes didn't fall apart. Men acted like leaders, spiritual leaders in the home, were willing to lead and to allow their wives and their children to have a place where they can thrive. So it's our responsibility. We're called to that. I can't sing the praises of this team high enough. Take that step. Sometimes it's massive action that needs to happen, but it's got to happen, and it starts there.
All righty, sir. We'd love to see you on the inside again this spring. Suffered the pain of discipline, not the pain of regret. I would love to see you on the inside. To letyourmarriage.com/cc. Let's go.